Hey, what's up guys? Jackson here with Toasty DIY, and today we are looking at my new toy. This is a 2021 KTM Duke 390. So for a quick disclaimer, I will not actually be riding the bike in this video. I will be starting it up and I will be revving it, but we'll be doing a whole separate video for actually riding it around where I'll get the GoPro hooked up, maybe on a helmet mount, and get a nice video of that for you guys. But this is the newest 2021 KTM Duke 390. I was originally looking at a 200, but after doing quite a bit of research and just forking up the extra $1,500 you will be spending for the larger engine, I decided to opt with the slightly larger bike. So I did get to see these comparatively to the 200s, and I can't tell you dimension wise, maybe I can have them up on the screen here somewhere, but you could definitely tell the 390 was bigger. It was a little bit taller, it felt a little bit wider, it felt longer. But who really knows? Obviously it's going to weigh more. The 390 is going to weigh more than the 200. The 390 comes in around 324 pounds, which is actually really light for a bike. I mean, obviously you do get that with the kind of exoskeleton design that they do here, which I absolutely love, by the way. It's so cool to me being able just to really see everything. And in theory, I would think it'd make it easier to work on too, but who knows? Maybe it could even make it harder. But yeah, the color scheme is beautiful on this bike. I ended up getting the gray color scheme, which really it comes in 3 colors in the US to my knowledge, which is white, gray, and black. The black also looks really nice. They all really do. The white, basically looks like this, and this would be white, and there's some other parts that'll be white as well. But I decided to go with the gray because that's what the guy suggested, and that's kind of what I ended up liking. So what exactly do you get for $56.99? Well, you get a 390cc single-cylinder engine that is water-cooled, and it actually does have a radiator fan and everything, and a radiator, of course. And that does kick on, on any hot days. It's not super loud or anything, but if you're sitting in traffic and stuff, you will hear it. It's just like a nice little fan, pretty much. You get a single-cylinder 390, so you can see how just how big that single piston is. Obviously on the 200, right in this area especially, it's about half the size almost. You get a top speed of close to 100 miles an hour, or I guess in theory you could probably get 100 if you're going downhill or something. You get a 6-speed manual, as you will with pretty much any bike, of course. You do have a very, very nice digital display, which we'll get into once we turn it on. This bike is fuel injected, which is another really nice feature in my opinion. Obviously fuel injection typically costs more, and it can be more maintenance if something goes wrong. But when fuel injection works right, not only are you going to get more fuel economy, but in some cases you can even get more power. Tuning can be easier with fuel injection, and it's also cleaner emissions wise. You do get a catalytic converter installed in these too, so obviously emissions aren't a super big deal with these. It does come with the pretty decent looking stock exhaust. That sounds pretty good in my opinion. I don't even really think I plan on changing the exhaust out. I actually like the subtleness of it. You do have ABS, which you will obviously with most newer bikes anyways, but ABS, you do have your typical rear brake on the right side. You have your clutch or gear selector on the left side. Some pretty nice badging as well, if I do say so myself. I mean, overall this bike I think is just beautiful. So for braking, we have a really nice disc brake in the front, and in the back I believe we actually have pretty much the same size disc brake. Really good size calipers as well. They look relatively easy to change out, the pads too. I mean, they look very standard as far as the pads go. But you have your typical, front brake up here, and then rear brake right down here on the right side. And they are very firm out of the factory. You barely press them, and you definitely get really good braking. You do have fully working front and rear turn signals, front and rear, well, sorry, not front and rear brake lights, but rear brake light. A very nice front headlight, which I'll go ahead and show you guys that, because it's actually pretty impressive how bright that is. We're gonna go and cancel that. And this right here is basically like your kill switch and your start switch. So right now, the bike is set to on, but kill switch is enabled, so it can't start. But yeah, turn signals are pretty nifty. They work really easily. The only thing I don't really love is I don't believe they have like the automatic off switch where it has like a limit switch when you turn. So you basically do have to remember to turn them on and off. I really couldn't tell you if that's a standard feature on newer bikes where they can auto turn off. You do have a horn that's actually fairly loud. Scared my dog. But yeah, it's actually a pretty loud horn. I was kind of scared myself when I first honked the horn. And let me show you guys that light. So we do have brights and we have daylights. I believe the daylights are just automatically on all the time, and then there you have headlights, pretty nice, like LED, or it might even be like HID bulb. And then we can also flash them if we just press that button, but pretty bright though, looks really nice. So one other nice feature too is it does have an actual wheel lock where you can, it's really simple actually, it's just this little guy right here. But it does make it to where you can't turn the steering wheel. And that's definitely a nice anti-theft feature. Then you just push that down, you turn it, and that pulls the lock out. So now, to start it, we just turn this guy, it's actually already on. So you can see it's on to start. Make sure we're in neutral, which we are, and then we can fire up. So there you go, pretty much starts right up. I mean, that was a cold start. I didn't hold the button down for quite long enough, so we had a little bit of a false start there. But mirrors are really nice, by the way. I know I didn't really address that. The mirrors, they are flexible right here, and you can spin them completely. I wish that they were like, I guess, a little bit wider angle mirrors, but I mean, overall, though, you definitely can see everything behind you for the most part on your sides. So, I'm gonna go around to the exhaust, very quiet. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, you know, for a single cylinder, it's smooth for the most part. You can definitely tell it's a single cylinder. You know, you definitely get that thumper sound. But yeah, it's definitely not bad. So we'll let it warm up a little bit before we, you know, rev it. Because on a newer engine like this, especially, you're gonna make sure you really get that brake intake. Now, keep in mind, for the first 600-ish miles you have this, you do have a limit as far as how high you can rev it, and I think it's like 7,000 RPM or something. And you know, you really shouldn't on any bike go higher than 7,000, or give or take, you know, depending on the specifications when you're breaking in all that new metal. So once that 606 miles is up, that is time for its first servicing. And one of the things I was told is that you do need a special tool. Rather than like an OBD2, you actually need like a specific, you know, KTM scanner to basically reset your light and you know, do the maintenance and everything. So that is one thing that kind of sucks in my opinion. And I need to do more research, because the guys at the dealership basically told me like there's no way for me to, unless I want to spend like $2 grand on a special KTM servicing machine, that I can't really do any of it myself. Obviously, I don't know that for a fact, but multiple people there told me that KTM is very, you know, picky on what can be connected to their bike. So, you know, we'll find that out once we get there. We're only at 12 miles right now, and it's not going to change much. So let's see if we're getting warmed up. Alright, so we're pretty warmed up now for the most part, so you can see we have a very nice throttle response. And then once the bike warms up, the idle does kick down a little bit. I believe it idles right around like 1,500, give or take. But, you know, like I said, it's a single cylinder. You are going to get, you know, some a little bit of vibration. It's really not bad at all, though. I mean, you really can't feel it much. These are nice seats, by the way, very wide and comfy in my opinion, but it's a good sounding bike. You definitely hear a lot of the engine when you don't have an exhaust on it. You know, when you just have the stock exhaust, you definitely don't get much of the high performance sound. But, you know, for my first bike, I think it sounds pretty dang good. So, I think that's pretty much it for today's video. I will be, like I said, releasing some driving clips soon. Just maybe doing like a nice cruise on the back roads to kind of really show you guys how it sounds, what it can do, how it feels to ride it and everything. But yeah, I hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.